Welcome to the 4 steps to $1 million in profit. This is video 4 of the series of videos that we went over to build the systems of a $1 million business plan. And don't fret if you missed the prior videos because they are available at seanmodry.com. That's my blog. And there at that blog, you'll have an opportunity to go back and review the 5 mistakes agents make when hiring. Video 2 was the lead generation trap, and video 3 is the business plan and model. But don't leave yet. If you didn't see those videos, it's okay. We're going to go back and recap some of the principles that we learned in those other videos. And we're also going to talk about a great opportunity at the end of this. Now, for those of you that didn't see the prior videos, I've been a real estate broker for over 20 years now. I've owned 5 real estate offices, and I have many awards from being a top real estate agent as well as being a top recruiter in the real estate industry. And today, with my partner and I, we run a real estate and mortgage coaching business that we help real estate and mortgage brokers build their real estate businesses to the point where they can have freedom, time, and money. And isn't that what we all want? Is we got into real estate because we wanted freedom and the money. And what did we find out? That doesn't exist, does it? When you get into this business, you don't realize that once you're in it, you end up on that hamster wheel and you can't find your way off. And because I was so passionate about finding that solution to this, I've spent the past 8 years of my career really looking at ways to solve this problem in the real estate industry as well as the mortgage broker industry. And this is some of the principles that we've come up with to find solutions for people just like you who are trying to really make the most out of your career and still have an outstanding life and to enjoy the things that we're here on this planet to enjoy and to enjoy our family. So let's move through the process today. First principle I'm going to recap is the lead generation trap. And the lead generation trap basically looks like this. I look at the real estate business as 3 different pieces: promotions, sales, and service. Promotions, sales and service, and process and management. Think of them as 3 different departments that function independently of each other. So promotions is the front part of the business that generates leads into the business. So it could be marketing, it could be customer engagement or events, it could be what we look at as what's called telemarketing or outbound calls, or it could also be looked at as maybe door-to-door, any way that we're engaging people that we do not already have relationships with is promotions. Second piece is sales and service. Sales and service, the salesperson's job is to follow up on leads that they get. Follow up with past clients and past customers that are there to be serviced, to do presentations, to set expectations of what the customer can expect, to sign a contract with that customer, to manage those expectations once those expectations have been engaged. The next piece is process and management. Frankly, just once the sale is made, what processes and solutions do we have for the consumer? And what does that look like from an organizational perspective? And who is there to measure the results to make sure that we are on track to reach our goals every month? So frontward key indicators as well as back-end things such as profitability at the end of each month. Did we make enough money to keep the business moving forward and to pay our bills with the profit that's left over? So I like to look at this like, take it out of the real estate industry and let's pretend once again that we opened up a store, and in this store we're going to sell a high-priced cupcake. And we're out in front of the store and we're selling cupcakes, right? So we start off in the promotions department and we're selling cupcakes and we're flagging people to come into the store, right? We have our little sign and our arrow and we're handing out flyers out front of the store, and all of a sudden somebody says, "Yep, I want to come into the store." And they walk into the store and we run behind the counter and we're helping them behind the counter by showing them what the expectations of the cupcake are, answering their questions. This is the sales process, right? They're asking about, what do you have that's gluten-free? And we explain to them those cupcakes that are gluten-free. And then we make the sale. We find the exact product that's available for them that's going to meet their expectations. And we take them to the register, sign the contract, watch them take that first bite, and then we manage the expectations. That's the sales process. Next is process and management. So then all of a sudden you jump over and you have to close out the books at the end of the night, clean the restaurant, wake up the next morning, bake more muffins for the next day, and then by 11 o'clock you jump back to the street and you run back out to promotions. And then we repeat the process over and over again, and we go nuts, right? And this is how we are with real estate, right? We go out and we make promotions, we meet a customer, and we take them and we put them in our car and we show them homes, we give a buyer presentation, get them to sign the contract with us, get them to sign a contract to purchase a home, and then we have to manage all the details and processes of when the property's under contract and to close. And then as soon as it's closed, we jump back into promotions and we repeat the cycle again. And hence we end up the hamster on the hamster wheel. An agent's business follows a format similar to any other business that exists. And we start off as, frankly, the way we start off is the tactician. We're the one doing everything, right? We're the ones that are in there, and we're engaged and we're up to our elbows learning about the business. And so we start off as step one, really learning about the business and taking responsibility for all parts of that business. And by taking responsibility, I mean we do it all, every single piece of that business we are doing. And then we move to step two, which is we're agent plus we're managing systems and we're using tools or we're following specific processes that are allowing us to achieve more. So we might be an agent that's using a website to generate leads. We might be an agent that has a consistent pool of clients that are coming in, or we might be an agent who is really good at prospecting and promotions, and we're not good at paperwork, so we're farming out the paperwork to somebody else. And we start there. And then we shift over to business owner, where this is where anyone in business then decides that they have to hire somebody. They have to get some help. And then at some point they realize that help's not going to last forever, that they're not going to stay with them for indefinitely, that we don't own people, and we have to create systems and processes that will allow many different types of people to plug into our system and still be able to run it effectively and efficiency. And we shift to number 4, which is system. So let's look at how this looks for a real estate agent. So the typical agent model looks like this, right? We have a real estate agent, and let's face it, the world is all about that real estate agent, right? They're central focused about them, and maybe the customer is important, but yet everything has to flow through them. So the business is really about them. They might have a transaction coordinator or a lead source, but the mantra of them is, I do everything to help you. And the negative words that they say all the time is, if I just had more time, I'd do this, right? And this is the path of the real estate agent. Now, as they begin to grow, they might shift to what we call a team model, where, again, the agent is the center of the universe, and they might bring on an assistant or a buyer's agent or just another agent that's working with them in any format. But all the promotion is about the agent, right? And their mantra is, we will do everything to help you, and more is better. So they say more leads is better, more people on our team is better. And yet, what is the biggest challenge at that point typically is revenue, right? If we had more money, or they might say if we had more leads, or if we had more listings, then we'd be able to do this, right? And that's the mantra of the team. If we had more, if we got bigger, right? And then we look at the business model. Now, notice in the business model, it's not agent-centric anymore. In fact, the agent now has moved into the owner role. We have brought in a business manager to manage all process and management of the business and the three pieces of the business that we spelled out before, which was promotions, sales, and process. And each of those things are managed independent of the owner. Now, make no mistake, the owner is responsible to make sure that everything is being done to the level of the expectation, but the owner is now flexible to be able to move in and out of the business with flexibility because they are no longer the center of it. You can think about this as the owner has stepped away and is now observing the business. Now, oftentimes the owner is also a role in the business. So we have the owner who creates vision. We have the business manager who manages all operations and process and frankly, people. Then the owner is also a role within the sales department that they are the lead listing agent. Okay? Now, the mantra of the business owner is, my business is here to help you. That's the key. My business is here to help you. No longer am I the one that's going to do everything. No longer do I have to be the bottleneck in order to grow my business. Because when we're the bottleneck and we think of doubling our business, it gives us chills down our spine to imagine the monumental task of having to grow our business because of we're already working 40, 50, 60 hours a week. How can we in fact improve our business and grow our business when we have no time? And see, the solution is in this model, to take ourselves out of the equation as the bottleneck in the industry or the bottleneck in the business model and move us to a role within the system. So ask yourself, how am I getting in the way of the growth of my business? Here's another way to look at it. The keys to personal success is mindset times skills times discipline, including your time, equals success. And notice that that operates within the realm of time, specifically your time, your 40 or 50 or 60 or 70 hours a week that you choose to work. Yet you're always going to be limited by you because there's only one you. Yet the rules for business success are very different. It's people times organization times system. Now, organization is like process, right? What does your organizational flow chart look like? What does the consumer see as they move through your process? Systems could be a lead generation system. Systems could be a system to manage intake for employees. Whatever that looks like, we have systems to substantiate the process. And those three things now equal success. See, I look at businesses are for generating income outside the realm of time. My time. By growing my business, I now have the ability to generate income without me having to exchange my time. Now, that doesn't mean I step out forever. I am still responsible because I, in fact, own the business. So if you look at it back on our quadrant chart, if you see on the left side, time equals money. On the right side, leverage equals money. Another way to look at it would be time equals money is rules are mindset times skills times discipline. That means you have to do it. It's your mindset, your skills, your discipline equals success. Versus on the right side is leverage equals money. People times organization times systems equals success. See, most people get stuck on the left side of the quadrant. never moving to the right side because they're so paralyzed in fear of what it would look like to move to that side of the quadrant. So, video 4 today is about the systems that are required to operate and manage a real estate practice that generates $1 million a year in profits. And I want to be clear. I'm going to define system as a coordinated body of methods or scheme or plan of procedure, like a system of government. This is how Webster's dictionary defines system. That's how we're using it for this presentation. So a systems that are required, first off, is a system to manage the business. Most importantly, a plan. A plan that you're following that you can make adjustments to as you go along. Yet we have a specific plan or idea of what the business is going to look like at different phases. We might have phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, or 1.0, 2.0, or 3.0. Yet we have a clear idea of what the business plan looks like at each stage and a plan on how to get there. We also need processes to manage our expenses and processes to help us make good decisions. So we understand when we're making a decision, how is it going to impact our business? Because sometimes to make the right decision for our business might not benefit us personally, individually, for a short period of time, yet it is the right decision to allow our business to continue to grow. Another way to look at this is I look at a business as a separate entity of myself, like a child. And my job is to give the child all the resources it needs in order to grow and become successful. And sometimes as a parent, and many of you are parents, so I know you understand, you have to make sacrifices individually to allow your child to grow. In business, those sacrifices sometimes look like money, or sometimes they look like time, or sometimes, even more important, they look like having to let go of our ego long enough to say, I don't know, and to be vulnerable and open to listening to somebody else's perspective long enough to discover that maybe the way you've been seeing things is what's causing the frustration in your business. Second systems are systems to help generate business, your promotional systems. So I like to think of promotions as creating leads where there are none, right? How do we go get leads? Now, I have coached with many real estate agents, practically close to 1,000 over my career. And I can tell you this, most of them, 99.9%, do not have a process that they follow consistently to generate leads from people they do not know. Now, there's a couple ways to do that. One would be outbound calls, one would be face-to-face, another would be events. Some people will use systems like internet lead generation, systems that create leads online, and then you're following up. In my opinion, that is based on a marketing principles and not promotions, because we cannot control the result that we're getting. Let me give you an example. If your goal was to go out and generate 2 listing appointments this week, by doing outbound calls or face-to-face, you would have the ability to generate 2 listings each week that are under your control. Because if you get 1 listing, you just continue to go until you get 2 listings. Now understand that's not you as an individual. That's your process and systems following the methodology of people times organization times system. Okay? So it's not you doing it, but as you have your process and system so dialed in that you could generate 2 listing appointments a week. Now, I know some of you are thinking that that might be unrealistic. I tell you right now, currently in today's market, I have many clients that are doing this consistently. The reason internet lead generation I categorize as marketing is because we can spend money and not necessarily control the result that we get. So if our goal is to get a listing contract signed, it is very difficult to control that result through marketing, through internet lead generation and promotion. Okay? So under my definition of that, internet lead generation is marketing. So, third system we need to have in place is a system to manage all the leads that we're generating. A high-level business system that's going to generate $1 million a year in profits has to have a system to manage leads. Now, when I say a system to manage leads, I specifically mean what methodology are we using? What do we want it to do? Because what I have found is one size doesn't fit all. And we're not talking about what platform to use because the platform will change over time. I'll give you an example. To manage many leads 20 years ago, you might have used a desktop style format. Yet 20 years ago, we didn't have internet. So those platforms that we used 20 years ago may not be the most effective platform today. Yet the systems that we need to look at are the ones that are going to follow the methodology of what do we desire it to do. And what I have found is I haven't found one that does them all well. I still feel that there are multiple systems required in order to be the most effective for communicating to those leads. For example, what mediums, meaning email, mail, social media, what mediums I'm trying to communicate through is going to dictate what platform I'm using. The fourth system is a system to help generate referrals. And generate referrals meaning from people who know us, love us, and or have used our process or system in the past and can testify to it. Now, the reason this is important is obviously the cost to generate a lead from a past client via referral or a past client is much lower than generating a lead from someone you do not know. Now, the hint to this system is the same process and systems that we use to generate cold leads or to go get leads. The difference is this is a redundant system that operates with a different message than the messages that we're generating to people that have not used our product and service. Another system that we need is a system to manage marketing. And this comes down to 4 different processes that we need to look at. A process for print mail, a process for email, processes for social management, and for internet lead generation. Each of these 4 processes also need an individual plan that goes out between 3 and 6 months in advance in order to keep on track and make sure that we don't miss an opportunity to send out our messaging. Now, as I was sharing before, each of these may use a different platform in order to operate. And this is why it's extremely important to have very detailed processes on a business that's going to operate at a high enough level to generate $1 million in profit each year. Now, obviously, to do this, we're going to need people to manage these systems. And one of the biggest challenges that we have as agents is finding talented people. So we need to have a process to find those talented people. And talented people are employees and real estate agents both. We need a process to screen the candidates because what's the biggest challenge that agents have? frankly, what's the biggest challenge that all small business owners have is hiring out of desperation or hiring people that we know because we like them or we feel obligated to hiring them. This ends up causing us to hire people that we're trying to create roles for instead of hiring people that fit the roles that we are looking to fill within our industry. So it's extremely important that we have detailed process and we have detail of what these individual roles are expected to do and accomplish each week. Therefore, we can find people to fill these roles instead of hiring people that are unique, that if they were to leave our business would damage our business greatly in the future. So, a system to hire is the next one. The last one is systems to lead people. And what I mean by lead people is lead them, we lead people, we manage systems. So we need systems to help us manage time of not only the people we're leading, the time of ourselves too. When are we involved in the process and when do we need to step out? We need systems to help us manage expectations and processes to measure success of individuals, to show them that this is what your expectation of this role is, and to let them know if they are or are not achieving it. In the book E-Myth, he talks about in that book how important it is for employees to feel like they're part of something and to feel like they have structure that they are able to perform within, and the importance of letting them know that they are reaching the requirements and the expectations of the position that they're in. Now, what's the challenge? We're all individually entrepreneurs. That's why we got into this business. And we are self-accountable. So we're not used to slowing down long enough to let people know that we appreciate them and they're doing a good job. Or more so, we're so busy that we don't slow down long enough to let them know when they're not reaching the expectations of the position. Then frustration builds up, animosity, anger, backtalk, and then explosion. And the people leave our business feeling like they were taken advantage of, and we get left behind feeling like we were taken advantage of. When clearly a process to help manage the expectations of both the business owner and the employees, or the business owner and the agents that are on the team, would have solved the problem long in advance. So here's what's important. I know this sounds massively overwhelming. This is what I can tell you. Anyone can do this if they choose. I've flown all over this country and I've met thousands and thousands of real estate brokers in my process of training and coaching. And I can tell you, there is no secret other than desire to allow you to learn to do this. Here's the key. Get guidance. Many of us, including myself, once believed that if it's not within me, then it wasn't meant to be. I had to become very vulnerable to realize in order for me to grow, in order for my business to grow, I had to change this belief that if it wasn't within me, it's okay. That I can follow a path that somebody else laid out ahead of me, and I can take that path and I can grow that path and I can make it unique to me. Yet to have somebody guide the path that has been there before and to show us the way to do it shortens the time and the energy and the effort and the money invested in order to achieve the result that I'm looking to achieve. Now, many of you might say, well, I don't want to build $1 million business. Well, guess what? This really isn't about building $1 million business. Yet if you understand the principles about building a business that generates $1 million in profit, those same principles will allow you to generate $250,000 in profit or $100,000 in profit or whatever it is you choose. Yet these principles will allow you to grow your business much greater than following a methodology that's outdated from the past. So here's how people learn. First, they're exposed to an idea, and then they begin to do some research, and they learn and they gather evidence from other people. And then they might make an attempt at this idea, right? They're going to say, I'm going to give it a shot and see how it works. And then they fail, and they move backwards, right? They move backwards when they fail, and they move back to a process of learning. And then they reattempt, and then maybe they fail again, and they have to move back through the process of learning once again. And then finally they move through and they achieve until they hit a level that they're exposed to a new way of thinking once again. And this is the process of learning and growing in a business. So what I want to point out here is it's okay not to know what the future looks like. It's okay because all you have to do is keep your mind open, listen for the opportunities that are ahead of you, and take action slowly and understand that failure is simply part of the process. Yet, through each time you fail, you have the opportunity to learn something new, make adjustments, and move forward. So here's my goal for you. My goal for you is that you are a happy, productive person. You have a fulfilled life. I frankly don't care what your production goals are. See, I want to meet you right where you're at. I want to come to your level and say, this is important for you where you're at. Yet, is your business growing and or dying? In the book E-Myth, he speaks about businesses are either growing or they're dying, meaning we're either moving our business forward or it's slowly dying. He also says that there's no such thing as idle, that there's no such thing as just standing still. And in my observation of business, I've also found that to be true. When I believe I'm in periods of idle where I'm just resting or taking a break or I'm just going to let it coast for a while, my business begins to die. It begins to fall apart. People start to feel unimportant, and they decide that they might want to leave and move on to other opportunities. And it's because I'm not challenging myself hard enough to allow them to grow within the business and to have opportunities too. So it doesn't matter unless you're willing to grow yourself. See, the business won't grow if you're not growing. And what I mean by you growing is you growing your education, you growing your understanding of business models. And through that, your business will begin to grow and you'll see more production. You'll begin to hire people and provide jobs, and you'll need to invest in your systems. And that's what holds people back. This understanding that sometimes we have to grow our business through hiring people. And yes, when we grow a business, it does require a capital investment of some type. So here's the 4 biggest objections I get. I don't want to manage people. I don't want or I don't need a big business, or I don't need a lot of money, right? I don't need more money. Or I don't have the time. Or the big one, I just don't have the money. So let's break these objections down. I don't want to manage people. Well, let's look at that objection, because every objection underneath is a fear that's holding us back, right? Something that's holding us back that we're saying, I don't feel right about this. So maybe that somebody in your past has let them down before. You know, you hired somebody and it didn't work out. And you thought, boy, hiring people and managing people is tough. Sometimes people think that they're just not good at managing people. They think, for me, I remember I hired my first employee when I was 22 years old. I sometimes thought I'm just too young because maybe I've never managed anybody before, or I've never taken the responsibility to have an employee before, and frankly, I don't even know how. Or maybe you did and it just didn't work out, and you made a decision at that time that you're never going to do it again. So here's the solution. There's two solutions to the equation. And going back to the E-Myth, understanding that one is going to allow us to move forward and learning to hire and learning to lead people. And the other solution is going to allow us to move backwards, which is stay small and just keep our business where it's at. Now, depending on where you are in your life and depending on where you are in your career, maybe staying small and allowing your business to stay at a lower level or a lower size might be appropriate. If I'm in a place in my life where I might be looking to retire, or maybe real estate isn't the career for me and I want to transition into something else, building the business up may not be the appropriate response. Yet, if I've chosen this to be my career and I choose to generate more income, then growing the business by hiring people and learning to lead people, by growing myself by learning to lead people and learning to hire people, will allow me to have a happier life and a happier experience with owning and running a real estate business. Second objection, I don't want a big business. Their fears under this one typically are a bigger life will be harder to manage, right? There's too many parts already. I'm already overwhelmed. And if I get big, what does it matter? I'll fail anyways, and I don't want people to see me fail, right? Oh, people seeing you fail is embarrassing, right? And why bother? Because I've tried to build a business before and it failed, so why bother? And frankly, if I don't try, I can't fail. And if I don't try, someone can't see me fail. Or the third one, which is, if I am successful and I do get big, I might leave somebody behind. I might have someone in my life that I care about that doesn't want me to grow my business. That by me growing my business larger might shadow them out. And by shadowing them out, that would hurt me because I care about that person. Well, as Marianne Williamson says, you have to let your light shine to be a beacon of light for others. So our solution is this. We have a choice of moving forward to learn to manage the growth of ourself and to learn to manage the growth of our business. Or we can move backwards and don't set large, unrealistic goals so we don't put ourselves under the pressure to expect more from ourselves in the same 24-hour day that everybody else has. Because here's the trap. We're in an industry where we are every day compared to somebody else in the industry. Somebody else sold more homes. Somebody else has this neighborhood. Somebody else got the award. Somebody else's name was on the PowerPoint in the team meeting. So every day we're measured against somebody else. And we place those unrealistic goals on our businesses. Now, if we choose not to have a big business, and yet we measure ourselves against people who are playing with a different set of rules, meaning they are playing at with a set of rules that say, I'm going to leverage through people. And you're playing with a set of rules that says, I choose not to manage myself, or I choose not to grow my business through people. You're holding yourself to a set of unrealistic goals because the limitations of the rules you've put in place will hold your business back. And that's okay, but remember, my goal for you is to have a happy, fulfilled life. And when you have a desire within you that you're not fulfilling the expectations of others around you, because you have set up rules inside your head that you have to show up a certain way. You have to either let those rules go and allow yourself to grow your business, or allow yourself to be truthful and say, I choose to not operate with those rules. And I also choose to have goals that are more realistic within the constraints of the rules I've placed on myself. Next one is, I don't have the time. Meaning time is just, I've done this before and it's just wasting my effort, right? If it's all going to fail, it's just wasting my effort. It's taking myself down a road that I know I'm not going to fulfill. Because frankly, I've done things and I've wasted time in the past. When the truth is, this is exactly why you must change. See, people that need time, successful real estate brokers, successful mortgage brokers that are selling lots of homes, their biggest challenge is time. So we have to make a switch to move ourselves from individual success principles to business success principles in order to get our life back. So the solutions are this. Move forward means be courageous, take a chance. Time is on the other side of the learning process. Or moving backwards and understanding that over time, our business is doomed to fail simply because time is energy and effort of us. And we are not machines. We are not robots, and over time, we will get tired. We will get worn out, and at some point, we will stop working. And when we do, our income will stop also. I don't have the money. What's our fears under not having the money? Well, none of us enjoy wasting money or losing money or investing in something we don't fulfill. Maybe we don't believe in the process. Maybe we don't believe it can be done. Maybe we don't believe in ourselves because we've spent money on things and we just don't follow through. Or maybe we have an underlying feeling that we're not smart enough or not good enough. I can tell you this. It's not about brains. It's not about how great you are as a real estate agent or a mortgage broker. Frankly, it's about following a process. It's simply about following direction. See, every single business had started out with some type of investment, an investment of time or an investment of money. And then as money grows, you have to manage your expenses as revenue increases to increase profit. And this equation will allow you to keep more money than you have ever made or kept before in the past. So the truth is, if you manage it and you complete the tasks and you move forward and you challenge yourself, over time, you will actually create more money than you have today. So the solution is, moving forward, is following a proven plan. This plan has been implemented across the country in multiple states with great results. Let me ask you, would you exchange money and maybe a little bit of your ego, which what I mean by that is this desire to look good, for the ability to make $1 million a year? I mean, who wouldn't make that decision? To set your ego aside for a minute and a little bit of money for investing in your business, for investing in systems, in order for the potential to earn $1 million a year. Now, the other solution is to move backwards, not invest in yourself, not invest in your business, and over time, your business will starve, and your business will get smaller and smaller and smaller until it doesn't produce enough revenue to keep its only employee employed, which is you. And then the business closes. So, if you're someone who wants freedom from having to go into the office every day, wants to be able to take 2 weeks off a year, 3 weeks off, and not worry about your income plummeting by doing it, if you like to challenge yourself, if you're willing to invest into yourself and into your business, invest time and some money, and frankly, if you want more from life. Now, here's the truth. This entire presentation about making $1 million had nothing to do with making $1 million. What is it really about? It's about getting your life back. It's about having success and having the time to enjoy the success that you've had. So this plan is for you. What we do is we'll create a detailed 7-system process for you to follow on how to manage your business, generate referrals, generate leads, manage leads, marketing, meaning your print, email, social media, and internet marketing, plans and processes for each, plans and process to how to hire and how to lead people. How we implement this strategy is a one-on-one weekly coaching call for 30 minutes each week. Through this and the tools provided, you will learn how to implement these systems in your business. Now, what does it cost? One-on-one coaching is $1,200 a month with a 6-month minimum commitment. Now, I promise you, time is extremely tight for us. So, if you're interested in doing this, please get on our calendars quickly because there's only so much time for each of us, our coaching schedules. And we are not onboarding coaches until they have proven the process themselves. So for a limited time, you're going to receive a 20% discount by following the link on the page below and using the promotions. You will automatically be registered for a 20% discount if you choose to move forward with one-on-one coaching to build your business. Now, if you follow the link on the page, you'll go ahead and register for a free 30-minute coaching call to where you can go through your business plan, talk about how coaching can impact you, answer any questions that you have. Now, lastly, let's look at that. With a 20% discount, that's a $6,000 commitment to learn how to build a business that can generate $1 million in profits. Now, I know that sounds crazy, and I know it sounds unrealistic, but I can tell you right now, I have coaching clients that in less than 1 year have already tripled their business from before, that are already on the path to achieve $1 million in profits with no end in sight. Because when you build a business, it typically is scalable beyond time. It is only limited to the ability of your systems, processes, and people that you're able to find. I'm here for you. I appreciate you and I believe in you, and I'm here to help you out. Please go ahead and follow this link to get your free 30-minute coaching call, and let's get your business going.